How y'all doing? It's Matt Johns, the terrible fisherman here. Just got back from the past weekend. My family took a trip down to Williamsburg, Virginia. We had a great time. It's a beautiful place. Been there a couple times, not as much as my wife's family. They go there every year, um, and got to do some fishing. Was a little disappointed. Was really excited about it. Read about how great like the James River and Chickahominy was for like bass fishing, catfish, and I was so excited. Did my research, and I got skunked. So I mean, basically, we got down there the first day, unpacked. We left at like 2:30 and missed the DC traffic, and we got down there, and my wife and my daughter, who's 18 months, took a nap during the midday, and I decided I'd go try some fishing. I tried 3 spots, and they were all private, no trespassing. And while I know a lot of people on YouTube would just fish until they get kicked out of, I tend to not get kicked out. I tend to have the cops called on me. It comes with it when you're like 6'2", 300 pounds, scary looking guy. They don't just think, oh no, there's kids, let's kick them out. It's like, oh no, there's a serial killer in the backyard, let's call the cops. We don't want to talk to him. So I don't really like to press my luck with that. So spent that afternoon for 2 hours trying to find, place to fish. Didn't have any luck, so I, went to a local fishing tackle shop, Hookers and Toana, I'm not sure how to pronounce that, Virginia, which is like 5 miles from Williamsburg. Great store, loved it, so helpful. They were so helpful. They suggested that I try the Chickahominy for bass. That would be a good place to start. And so that night I picked up some fresh bunker from them. Picked up some hooks. Picked up these really cool 6-ounce no roll weights, which I've never seen. I've seen them on videos. I've never seen them around my bait shops up here in Delaware. This was amazing. The one thing that came out of this trip fishing wise, was this. So anyway, so that night, my wife and I decided to go fishing. Granted, my wife's been fishing 3 times in her life. Was a bit extreme for her, third time being night catfishing. We were on the fishing, not the James River, but it was like right off the James River on the Colonial Parkway by this bridge. It's just south of Williamsburg. I can't remember the name of it. I wrote a blog. I think I actually looked up the names of the creeks that I was on and put them on there. But anyway, so I hooked up with this. This is, circle hook, 4/0, 60-pound monofilament leader. It's a little shorter than I would actually run usually. Now this is a setup I've used many times. Weight sometimes change. Sometimes I do a surgeon knot with a bell-shaped one. I like this more for bank fishing or bridge fishing, because the weight doesn't slide up and down the line when you cast, which I find happens a lot with these sliders, is that they just kind of, when you go to cast, you don't get as good of a cast because it slides all the way up, and then it just, there's probably some technique that fixes that. It may be that my leader's too long. I've noticed it gets worse with longer leaders. But anyway, improved clinch knot, no knot, I think that's the name of it, to the swivel, and then I got 65-pound braid that goes back to my reels, 9-foot ugly stick to Shakespeare Tidewater. I know the reel's not very good, but it's cheap, and I don't have a lot of money to spend on the reels right now. So anyway, we threw this, put the bunker in. I had some salted mullet, salted mullet that I cut up too. Tried that on some of the smaller rods. Set them out. Problem with where we were is a lot of rocks. And this is why I stopped fishing in the C&D Canal. Is that every time you reel in, especially when the tide's low, you run into the rocks unless you lift your rod up. And my wife, this is her third time fishing, she didn't have a headlamp. I wasn't really prepared for her to come. I wasn't expecting her to come. And we kept getting snagged over and over. So I spent a lot of my time sitting there fixing rods. Didn't have so much problems with the lines getting dragged, but in the current, especially not with this weight, didn't have any problem with that. Even with the lighter weights, didn't really have that problem. But just, especially when you're going for larger fish, like I was using big chunks of bunker there, and just didn't get what I was looking for from them. You have to be there a while. You have to wait for that big fish to come by and take your bait. Like you have to commit the time. And with my wife being there, she got spooked out by, there were a lot of stripers busting on the water right on the bridge, which echoes and makes it sound a lot louder than it is. And there was a bush right behind us on the rocks, and that was freaking her out. So we had, after about 2 hours, I mean, she was a trooper, we called it and went in, which was disappointing for me. We tried a few spots, but there were people there doing stuff, and I'm not sure what they were doing. It looked like they were crabbing, or I don't know. We stopped along the Colonial Parkway. It was a nice beach, but there were a lot of people in the parking lot doing things. And it was one of those things, like, I know a lot of what, like, when I don't recognize what people are doing, especially in the situation, I don't like being around them, because I don't want, especially in the middle of the night, like, it's awkward, and I don't want to be privy to illicit things going on, which can happen sometimes when you're in these locations. Another reason why I stopped fishing at the C&D Canal at night. So we decided to call it in. Next morning I got up bright and early. Well, not bright, dark and early. 5 a.m. Got out on the road and went up to the Chickahominy. Wasn't the Chickahominy. It was a little creek off the side of it, but there was a public access ramp and there was a pier there. And started off the morning with a fluke, Texas rigged. Tried floating that. I snagged it real quick and lost it. I think there was a current, and I think it just went under a. And there was like a tree. There was a tree on the one side, and then like a grass, like it wasn't grass. It was like hydrilla or something, like flat. And this got snagged. I really thought this fluke would have done pretty well. Didn't try it again later on. Then I went to a frog because they were busting. There was just bass busting all over the place, just popping on the top water. So I threw a frog for a while, which I have not had any luck on. It's a Booyah baby poppering style. Got the mouth. And I just straight retrieved it. I tried to walk it, but I still can't get the walk down yet. Trimmed up the skirt to try and get it. I think I trimmed it a little short. Just a hair short. From what I've read. Didn't get anything on it. No bites, no nothing. It probably was a little dark, but I've heard, like, if it's dark, I don't know. It gives a better I don't know. I honestly don't know much about it. It's actually kind of clear when I'm holding it up to the light. I thought that was more. Well, didn't even know that about that. I noticed a bunch of the guys coming up the river on the boats, which is something I always do, is look to see what the people from around there are throwing. They were throwing buzz baits on the surface. There's a little creek that opened up, dumped in across the way, and they were just throwing buzz baits across it. So I tried that. I could hit it from where I was, chucked it over there, brought it back. No luck. Did that for, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes. I tried a hula popper that I lost, snagged it and lost it. And then I tried throwing this, and a Texas rigged worm, weightless worm, tried that, and this swim bait with a 5/0 swim bait hook. Threw that for a while after the top water, after they stopped like hitting the top water for a bit, and still didn't really get anything. So decided it was getting late in the morning, and one of the problems with family, well, not a problem, but one of the things you have to consider with family vacation is that you can't spend all day fishing. You got you have a couple hours before everyone gets up, so it was getting to 8. And I figured my daughter would be getting up and my wife would be getting up, and she'd want help. So I packed up and headed back, tail between the leg. And I have to say I'm very frustrated. Very frustrated. I have dealt with a lot of challenges in my life. My life has not gone always according to plan, and sometimes been hard. And anyone who's been through times like that know how it feels, and it's very hard for your self-confidence, especially starting this channel. It's very hard for me to do that, and I really wanted to have some success, especially with the catfish. Even if it wasn't like a 60-pound catfish, I really was hoping for a nice, a couple, like even a small one would have been nice. But that was just not to be, and it's hard, especially when you're throwing new stuff, because you don't know if it's you screwing up or it's just the fish don't want it. Which is always possible. So the one thing that's always gotten me through a hard time is just keeping to remember one step at a time. Don't focus on the past. Don't focus too far in the future. Just look at the next move. And with this, it's just taking this one cast at a time. One cast at a time, and just not focusing. Take your lessons learned, go on, and do better next time. So with that, I'm going to say, I've got some ideas. I'm going to try for a slam dunk next time, even if it's just tiny little sunnies. Go back to like creek fishing. I've done a lot of creek fishing. I know some good spots for that. I'm going to go to do some catfishing around here in a spot where I know they're catfish and I know I can catch them and I know how to catch them. So I've got a lot of good ideas. I've got a couple unboxings with this channel. A lot of things I like, and I'm going to try and replicate what other people are doing that I like, and putting my own spin on it. Because I'm a terrible fisherman. I'm okay. I'm not, but I'm terrible. Like, I'm not great. I want to be better. It's weird. It's such a passion's kind of risen from doing this channel, watching people doing this. I'm like, I want to do this too. I want to build this community. I want to become a better fisherman, and I want you to come with me and become better fishermen too, because it's a lot of fun. And we're going to take this one cast at a time, and we're going to do some unboxing, some species research, and we're gonna try and learn. We're going to learn how to fish, because I've never really tried it. But we're going to take this one cast at a time, and we're going to get better. And I'm looking forward to this journey. I'm going to journey with you learning this. So, until next time, see you there.